T-minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Jones messed with the wrong melon farmers. Thug life. And here we go.
I prayed that he would burn in hell, but in my heart.
This is as far as you go. No more.
Hello, Sydney. Are you alive? God damn you.
Wish I had you all alone, just the two of us.
Ooh, baby, 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 ooh, baby.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Movies and Beyond. Once again, I am Michael, and today it's Sunday. It's the Sunday Horror Hangout, and with me on Sundays, as always, is Mad Matt from Mad Matt's Mask. What is up, my man? How you doing today, brother?
I'm doing fantastic, Michael. I'm doing absolutely fantastic. Like we talked about a little bit backstage, got a little bit of true family time with my daughter. She's 16. She's got the boyfriend. She's got her car. Daddy is way on the back burner somewhere. So I take any time I can get with her. And it's always great, man. And then, to do that and then come on this show, it's just like, I feel complete. I'm being honest. I feel complete. It's what I love. I love family. I love horror. I love this show. And it's like I said, it's always an honor to be on here, man. But I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for having me, buddy. What's up?
That's great, dude. Nothing much, man. Got to see some college football last night. Dude, that Alabama Georgia game was crazy.
Yeah, how was that turnout? Because I don't know.
Like that game was crazy. And I know we really don't talk football on this, but man, it started off as a blowout, then it got close, then freaking Georgia took the lead, and then Alabama, like it was crazy, man. Alabama came back and won at the end. Like that game was freaking utter madness. And if I was a fan of either team,
And is that who you were wanting?
I don't care. Like,
Okay.
they're just two really good teams that were playing each other last night, which had some implications on where Ohio State would be ranked. You know what I mean? And at the same time, the Buckeyes game is on. So I'm watching that too. Dude, I love college football. I love football in general. Love the college football atmosphere for Saturday nights. Love NFL football on Sundays. I got to watch the Bengals today. You know, kind of took it easy today, which was nice. But yeah, man, like, but my Buckeyes played well last night. They didn't play as well as I wanted, but they were good enough to win. They were good enough to hold their spot. They're probably going to get jumped by Alabama, but that's fine. You know, we're still in the top 5. I think we're still going to be number 3 in the country. We only need to be in the top 12 this year to get into the playoffs. So there's going to be a lot of good teams left. And again, all these horror people are like, why is this dude talking football? Like, I didn't come here for this. I did not come here for football, but what we did come here for today is horror. And I got a lot of requests from people asking me this, Matt, and this isn't something that we usually do, but it was something that we talked about at the end of the last time we did this. We're going to talk a little bit of horror. You know what I mean? We're going to do that. And we're also going to finish that underrated, overrated chart that we started a couple weeks ago. I had multiple people ask me to finish that, which is the first time that that's happened to where people are like, hey, are we going to finish that? That was fun. Are we going to do that? I don't know if it's actually the tier chart itself. I think they just like to spin that wheel, Matt. I think that's what it is. And maybe one day we'll just have a show where we spin the wheel. We just have a wheel spinning show because people freaking love it so much. So all jokes aside, man, I'm definitely excited to be here tonight. I'm definitely excited to be hanging out with you, my friend, and all these fine people that we have in the chat that come here to hang out with us on Horror Sundays, man. And speaking of those fine people, let's see who
we got for
in the chat tonight. It looks like off the rip, looking at the very first comment here, it looks like Melissa was here at 2:52 p.m. saying first Thug Life. What's up, Melissa? I hope you're doing well. Happy Sunday.
What's up, Melissa?
Jerry Wilson in the chat as well saying, hello, Michael and Matt. Let's get it. Please smash that like button. Thank you, Jerry. What's up, buddy?
What's up, Jerry?
He's also throwing our links out there. If you want to join Movies and Beyond outside of YouTube, you can do so at Patreon, and Jerry has provided the link below. Mean the world to me if you want to become a Patreon member or a channel member, which you can do by clicking the join button just below the screen that you are watching right now. And Jerry has also thrown out Mad Matt's awesome Facebook page, and he has put the link there below. You can support Matt over on Facebook. You can also support Mad Matt on Instagram as well. So if you're not following him on both of those, what are you doing? You need to do that. You need to follow both of us over there.
Jerry,
I don't really mess with.
Thank you.
I don't really mess with the Facebook too much, but it's there. It is there. Thank you for that, Jerry.
Yeah, man.
Lydia's in the chat as well, saying "Heidi ho, officers." What's up, Lydia?
Heidi ho, Lydia. Heidi ho. I can't see it, not say it. I don't know.
Mr. Rick is in the chat as well saying, good evening. Let's talk horror. Did anyone see the new movie, The Watchers? Not too bad. I enjoyed it. It was a good movie. I have not seen The Watchers yet, but I've fallen a little behind this year on all the new horror movies. I will admit that.
Let me, anybody out there correct me? Is that a M. Night Shyamalan or someone related to them? I know that's a movie I believe Lydia is very excited to see. I've not seen it. But yeah, that's very cool. Let me know if that is. I think it's an M. Night Shyamalan, if I'm not mistaken.
Sounds familiar, but I want to say that it's not him. I could be thinking of the movie Trap. I don't know. I'm not sure.
I want to see Trapped as well. I've heard some back and forth, but some overall pretty good things about Trap.
I saw Trap. Yeah. It
was good to you about that.
It was good to a point, but then yeah.
Let me ask you this: very simple. Is it worth a watch?
Oh yeah,
Ouch.
you might like it. I mean,
I don't
yeah.
know. That took a minute for you, buddy, to
I
just
mean,
answer if it's worth a watch.
here I just think it could have been better. You know what I mean? I do. I think it could have been better. Let's see. And James has entered the chat. The Shape is in the chat saying hi to everyone. What's up, James? I hope you're doing well, my friend. Happy Horror Sunday Hangout. That doesn't sound right. Happy Sunday, James. Hope you're doing well.
What's up, James, aka the Shape? How are you, buddy?
AKA. Let's see. Polar's in the chat saying, yo, everyone. Happy Sunday. What's up, Polar? I hope you're having a good Sunday. Good to see you here.
Hello, Polar. Very good to see you.
Let's see. Let me see. Let's see. Fridge is in the chat saying, hello, chat. What's up, Fridge? I hope you're having a great Sunday, sir. John is in the chat as well saying, hello, my fellow horror nerds. What's up, John? I hope you're doing well, my friend.
John, good to see you always, buddy. Good to see you, man.
Val from Val's Views is in the chat. The General is in the chat. The General always gets a salute from Movies and Beyond. What's up, Val? Happy Sunday. I hope you're doing well. Kim is in the chat as well saying, hi, all. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday, Kim. Good to see you.
What's up, Kim? Kim, did you know that I'm the horror trivia champion? I just didn't know if you knew. Just wanted to throw that out there. Good to see you, though, Kim. Still. Absolutely still.
So,
absolutely.
You should give it like that UFC still and still, you know what I mean? Like,
I should. I should.
Still, you know?
We're going through a few different people trying to be our Bruce Buffer. You know, we're taking auditions and we're taking in tapes, but we just haven't found the right guy yet. But yeah, we're working on it, Michael.
If you would like to send an audition, you can do so at Mad Matt's Facebook page, where Jerry has posted the link below. Don't be afraid to send that video on Messenger.
Oh, yeah. You got to give it.
You're going to get 20 videos sent to you of people like, and still, it's going to be fucking awesome. I want to see those when you get them too. Let's see. Where did I leave off? Kim there. Okay. Let's see. Did I miss? Oh, Jeff D'Angelo is in the chat as well saying, hey, everyone. What's up, Jeff? I hope you're doing well, my friend. Happy Sunday.
Jeff? What's up, buddy? Jeff just picked up a sick. It's like partially latex mixed with silicone, like clown mask that like just fits to your face. That Jeff picked up from me, and dude, it freaking just suits him. And when I asked him what kind of suit he's going to put together with that, he didn't give any hints. He just said it's going to be something very special. So, dude, I can't wait to see what he's got in store for that, man. Like, I can't wait.
I'm assuming that's probably going to be for the Mad Matt's mask costume contest.
I sure as hell hope so, man. But yeah, Jeff is very, very creative. You know, you got to see his Peter Rottentail that he brought last year. So yeah, with this mask, man, whatever he puts together, I'm sure it's gonna be off the chain. So yeah, can't wait to see that. I just love seeing horror projects like cosplay come together, you know, especially during this time. Like, yeah.
I enjoy looking at them, not so much wearing them myself. Like it's like I don't really
totally get that. I totally get that. It could be an absolute bitch wearing them, for sure.
Oh yeah. Paula's in the chat as well saying hi to everyone. What's up, Paula? Happy Sunday. Always good to see you here. Michelle is in the chat as well saying hey to everyone. What's up, Michelle? Happy Sunday.
Hello,
I hope
Michelle.
you're doing well.
I believe I'll see Michelle at Scarefest. Is that correct?
Michelle should be at Scarefest. Yes.
All
yes,
right.
sir.
All right.
She also threw out the Go Notre Dame out there. Somebody was enjoying the college football chat. That's freaking awesome. I see Polar was also kind of joining and enjoying it. She said, well, U of M won't be a threat to Ohio State. You got that. Michigan's always a threat to Ohio State. It doesn't matter if they've lost every single game. It seems like the end of the year, those two battle it out. And they love to play spoilers. Let's see. I hope I didn't miss anyone. Oh, there's Sarah Campbell. Sarah Campbell's in the chat as well saying, hey, friends, sorry I'm late. Just got home. What's up, Sarah? Happy Sunday. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, no worries. No worries. Welcome, Sarah.
Let's see. I
And
don't wanna
to
miss
clarify your question, Michael, it looks like Jeff is saying that the mask is not for for the costume contest. He's working on something epic for Horror Hound. That's fantastic,
Oh.
Jeff.
Oh,
But
yeah,
work
there it
on
is.
something epic for the Mad Matt's mask contest, buddy. I want to see epic there too, brother. I love it, but yeah.
I'm curious to see what James is going as this year. Is the shape gonna be the shape again? We're gonna get to see James as a shape?
Same here, dude. And James, I've talked with him a lot, over the years, and I believe that gentleman is able to bust out a Myers 1, a Myers Kills, a Myers 6. You just don't know. I think he can do a Leatherface.
He
He's
could do a
got
Rob
tons.
Zombie too, can he?
Dude, he can do Rob Zombie. He has got
Yeah.
tons of just killer mask coveralls that he's collected over the years. The man has got a stellar collection. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what he brings for sure.
Which version of the shape will we see this year? I'm looking forward to it. Definitely looking forward to it. I always like judging those, man. It was really fun last year. Last year was, my first time. It looks like you guys are stepping it up this year for
We're
the
trying.
Mad Max costume
We're trying
contest.
for sure.
Yeah. I helped you scout out that stage the other day. Oh, what was that, last week? I think we looked at that, trying to figure
Yeah.
out how that's going to work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
And
man.
how much fun did the kids have, man? Wasn't
Yeah.
that awesome to see?
I
Like,
know I bring it up all the time when we talk about it, dude, but that kid, that Predator kid, man, he had that shit was dope.
and he's got a special place for me.
Yeah,
busting out the Predator like
it's
that.
almost like you went in there and asked somebody, like, "What? Okay, the guy that owns this place, what's his favorite shit?" And they're like, "Oh, the Predator."
Yeah, it is.
He's like,
It
"All right."
is.
Like 6 months later, he comes in a badass freaking Predator. I mean, that was digital. It had like digital shit. That shit was so dope.
Yeah, his cast. He had broken his arm.
Yeah,
and made his cast into the Predator blade gauntlet. Like, dude, hell yeah.
That's so cool.
I never did anything that cool as a kid.
That's
so for sure.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. I've never been very creative when it comes to, like costumes and stuff. I've always been like, I don't know, as a kid, like I wore a lot of like Halloween costumes and stuff, but for the most part, I've never really had that creative ability in me, to do like artsy things like that. You know what I mean? Like I'm not a very
you have a very creative mind, but it's not in
it doesn't translate.
It's not in cosplay. It's not in cosplay. It really I feel like it's in entertainment, if I'm being honest with you. So yeah, definitely don't sell yourself short and say you don't have a.
Well, I mean,
mind,
as far as that stuff, like I can't like draw either. You know what I mean? Like you don't want me to draw anything. You're gonna get stick figures. Like draw me a picture of Michael Myers. It's like he's gonna look like a stick figure. You might be able to tell he's got a knife in his hand, but that'll probably be about it. Draw like a third grader.
For me, give me cosplay. Tell me to be like, bust out something like a sick devil or something. But don't tell me to put together this with the lightning behind us. None of that. No. We all have our skills and
let's see. Jerry has asked Matt, are you taking that mask to Scarefest to get it signed?
You know what, Jerry? There's nobody there to sign this mask. There's nobody there.
Oh, that's an 03, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, you need Andrew Bernarski.
That's the only person I would allow to touch this mask.
Yeah.
So I gotta go with a big no on that one. I'll go a little further on that, Jerry. That was Jerry, right?
Mm-hmm.
I love autographs, but as far as like when it comes to collecting myself, I really don't collect that many autographs. I just don't. I love the ones I get.
Mm-hmm.
And if I had this on me and Andrew was somewhere like I'd have him sign it, but it's not my go-to. Like it's
right.
But Brett Wagner is not. That's all I'll say. He's not touching this mask.
So that's
all I'll
reserved
say.
for Andrew Bernarski, right?
It is.
Dude, I've never seen him in anything before. Like, I've never seen Andrew Bernarski.
I got very lucky, and he's a very cool guy, Michael. I got very lucky right after COVID. He was at a very small, really, it was an amazing convention. It's called, back then it was called Fright Night, and it was in Louisville, Kentucky. Right after COVID, in a very small building, Andrew was there, Tyler Maine, Scout Taylor Compton. It was a very cool, very, very cool convention. And it was low key. Like, I walked right up to him, dude.
Yeah.
I think when I met Tyler Maine, there was like one girl in front of me. Like, sorry, excuse me. It was amazing, but I don't think I'll ever get that kind of experience again. And like you said, I've never seen Andrew since. So I don't think he does a lot. So I'm glad I got to see him that time. But unfortunately, I did not have this mask at that time.
He's definitely my favorite of the Leatherface characters for sure.
I'd love to hear that.
I would like to see him, one day at least. I collect those 8x10 pictures that I like to have that are for me. I have them put to Michael on everything. They're not like something that I would ever sell or anything like that. And I would definitely like to have one of him. Like, I think that would be cool, and I'm sure that the pictures he would have would be fucking awesome, because to me he's the best looking Leatherface as well. The way that the characters put together, the costume, the mask, all that stuff. Like, to me it's just like, hell yeah, that's Leatherface, for sure. But dude, I want to play this game again, man. I want to do this. I want to put this tier list together. I want to finish this because this was so much fun last time. And I understand, why it was requested back by the amount of people that it was, because playing the overrated, underrated game with these, and I've got the chart. So here's the thing with the chart. It didn't save, so I had to remake it, and I had to go back to the video and pause it and put everything back together, because the chart didn't save to get it right back to where it was. So I did that today. We've got all of our movies that are still left in the same order they were in. So I basically could have just not told you guys that and been like, here it is. You know what I mean? But of course, I'm going to let you guys know. And we still have 12 movies that we have not put into this. I haven't changed anything. I haven't taken anything away. I haven't added, anything to it either. It's exactly what we had last time. All the same movies are on here, and we still have the wheel so we can spin to see which movie comes first. This one is a little challenging for me. I'm not going to lie, because I have to do the poll as well as switch the screens for the wheel and the chart. But I think that we did okay with it. So bear with me on the first like one or two with these, and we will we'll definitely get through it for sure. Let's see here. Let's me bring our wheel up first, because that's where we have to start. The wheel was still together, which was nice. That automatically saves for us, which was super cool. And I will bring our wheel up, and we will be able to get started with our first movie. Are you guys ready to spin the wheel to see which movie we talk about first to decide? We ready to go? All right, I'm going to go ahead and spin the wheel here, and let's see what we land on for tonight. Interesting. This is definitely going to be an interesting.
It is very interesting. The mask is coming off. It is getting interesting.
Oh yeah.
I just keep adding to the sweat.
You just keep adding to the sweat.
Dude, those latex masks, man, will make you sweat, dude.
Do they?
At least, I mean, dude, I sweat like a freaking pig anyway, but gosh, yeah. Dude, this is an interesting one.
Oh yeah. All right, I am going to sit this poll up. Let's see, overrated. Right where it should be. And underrated. All right, the poll is on. And what do you think about this one, Matt? So let me pull Saul up here, and I will start it right in the middle here. So our opinions really don't count unless we totally agree, and there's a tie, right? We only do the tiebreaker, so everybody in the chat here will definitely be able to decide where this goes. But for the movie Saw, Matt, where do you think that this one belongs?
Big question I have. This is not talking the franchise as a whole and just the Saw.
Just yes.
I think it's very simple then. I feel like it's right where it should be.
Okay.
This is a fantastic movie.
Yeah.
With a fantastic twist, and we all love twist. It's different. It's not your, run-of-the-mill, horror film. It's a fantastic film. And I do believe now, after like 6 and 7, was it starting to get a little too much credit? Yeah. If you're asking me, yes. But the first Saw,
yep, just the movie that's up there.
I have to say that it deserves all the credit that it gets. And for me, it's a closed shut case. That's what I feel like. It's right where it belongs. It gets its credit. It was fantastic. It was different. It was creative. Fantastic twist. Closed shut case. Yeah.
I got you, man. And this isn't something that happens all the time with us, dude, but I'm going to agree with you on that. The original Saw, and you talked a little bit about the twist, and seeing that for the first time, I remember thinking like, no fucking way. Like, no way.
Right.
Like, you've got to be freaking kidding me. And I don't hear too many people talk bad about it. So I don't think that it's,
not the original. You don't.
Right. I don't think that it's like getting too much credit. I don't think that it is. And I agree with you, man. It's about where it should be, dude. It's right there. I think that Saw is definitely interesting. Now, like you said, when you start to get to the later ones, I'm just like, Jesus, like here we go again. But I did love Saw 10, man. I really did like that, and it surprised me. I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did, but I did enjoy Saw X. I thought it was good. But as for the original, dude, I think it's right about where it should be. I agree with you 100%. Let's see what the poll says.
Let me say one more thing, if I may. I'm right there with you. Lydia is a very big Saw fan, and I kind of dropped off, somewhere between 6 and 8.
Yeah.
And she's a big fan, and she was just ready to go and dying to see 10. And I was like, kind of felt like I was biting the bullet. I'm like, well, she wants to see it. I'll go see it. I'm right there with you, Michael. I thought it was pretty damn good.
Yeah.
And to be that late in the franchise and have such a good movie, I was very surprised. So yeah. I'm right there with you.
I mean, how many part 10s are decent like that? You know what I mean? Like that's a good, it's definitely a good way to, describe Saw X for sure. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and end the poll here, and it looks like not only, Matt, did we decide the same thing, it looks like everyone is in agreement with us to where we got 28% said it was overrated, 14% said it was underrated, and 57% said it's right where it should be. So that's freaking awesome. Actually, it seems like most of us agreed on that one. So hell yeah, man. All right, let me go ahead and bring this back down. I'll probably talk my way through this for the first couple ones, just for the simple fact that I'm simple like that. And then I will have to. All right, I'm getting the hang of this again. It took me a quick second, but we're gonna go ahead and spin the wheel again. So here we go. Let's go ahead and spin that wheel. Saw has been removed. Let's see what movie is next. It's funny too, because let's say that a movie drops that you like absolutely love. It doesn't real like it like it's a movie that you love, but it's not whether we love it or not. It's how it's viewed, by everyone else. So American Psycho. This is definitely a good one for this as well. Definitely like to see what you think about this one because there are huge fans of American Psycho. Go ahead and bring this back up. Shit, I almost removed you off of here, Matt. I would have felt like an asshole. Let's see, share screen. There we go. The tier list is up. We have American Psycho. Matt, I'll let you talk about this one while I set the poll up for the vote. Let's see, we have American.
I saw something that Michelle said, and that is a very good point. You know, when you are talking underrated, overrated, it does not necessarily mean that something sucks or doesn't suck. It's just about where it is, how it's perceived.
Right.
Now, God, this is a very, very tough one for me, guys. I'm gonna go since there's not an in between.
Okay.
I'm gonna throw in a little bit of a wrench.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say overrated.
Okay.
Now, like I said, if there was some in between, I'd say it's either right where it should be or just a tad overrated. I'm gonna go with overrated. Like I said, you know, make it a little bit more interesting. I don't hate this movie. I love Christian Bale. It's just not a very big go-to for me for how loved this movie is what's pulling me to overrated. And yeah, just like you said, Michelle, does not mean I'm saying this movie sucks. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
Am I making myself clear? Like, it's, you know, for me to, as much as this movie is loved, it's not loved that much by me. So I gotta border towards, I'm on a border towards overrated. But it is a good movie.
It is.
It just, for me, it doesn't have a shitload of rewatchability. Really, I think just because it's not that much my style. I think it's well written. It's clever. It's as simple as that, Michael. It's just not 100%, you know, up my alley with my taste. Is that it? Is that it's as simple as that?
Yeah.
So that was a tough one for me. That was tough.
Hell yeah, man. I really enjoy this movie, American Psycho. But then again, like rewatch value on it, it's not super high for me. Like it's not like, well, I want to watch American Psycho again quite often. You know, every now and then I do enjoy Christian Bale's performance. I think that it was the first time I saw it, I thought that was absolute madness. Like
Beautiful
watching it
performance.
for the first time, I'm just like, this is absolute madness. And I know that there are huge fans of this. You know, there are huge fans of American Psycho, but I also think that it's balanced out well with the people who don't really like it too much. So for that, you know, just my perception on the people I've talked to and what I've seen, I would say it's about where it should be. Just for that, you know, reason of what I've seen. Now there could be a whole other group of people, you know, that I've never talked to, that say this movie is terrible, and you could, you know, swing it either way because of that. But just based off of what I've seen with American Psycho, I think that it's about where it should be. So let me go through some of the comments here.
I've never heard, Michael, a lot of people bash it, for sure.
I've heard quite a few people say that it was boring, to where I've heard other people say that it was just awesome. You know, so that's why I keep it in the middle, just because I've heard that. You know what I mean? Like, I by any means don't agree. Like, how could this be boring? You know, to me, like, this is not boring. Like, this is not
about where it should be. Is a very good place for it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, Jerry, you got to watch that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Fridge is saying American Psycho scared me, though the book is supposedly even better, darker stuff. Yeah, I haven't read the book. I have not.
They're always better and darker.
Well,
they really are.
Yeah, Michelle saying the book is great. Sarah saying the book is wild. Oh yeah.
And it's hard to put all that, you know, in an hour and a half to 2 hour film. I get that.
Let's see where we're at on the votes. We have 14 votes in, and it looks like right where it should be has won with 57% to 14 and 29. So we will go ahead and leave that in the middle. If we start running out of room, I'm not sure.
Where was the 29, if I may ask?
The 29 was overrated. It said 29. The other thing, it only says 28 once it was finalized out. Overrated was 28. 14% said that it was underrated.
Okay, because I struggled to get to overrated, but that's where I put it. But
that makes sense too.
It wasn't an easy overrated.
Right. Yeah, definitely, man. And that was the thing. Like, you have these fantastic movies up here. So I wanted to make sure that it wasn't something that was easy to do, to where it's just like you instantly see something, you're just like, wow, that's freaking, overrated or underrated. Because I do like to see, the judgment or the decisions of the chat to see which way that they go. And I think that's so much fun to see that. All right, so we are back at the wheel. We will remove American Psycho. The wheel is getting smaller. Well, the selections are getting bigger, but we are getting less movies on here. And I'm going to go ahead and spin the wheel to see what our next movie is. And I see that Rashid has joined the chat. What's going on? I hope you're doing well. The OG, Friday the 13th. This should be fun.
Oh,
this
God.
Be.
That's a wrench thrown in, dude. That's a wrench thrown in, dude.
It definitely
is. Because this bitch is all over the board.
It is.
Can you go first, please?
Yeah, just give me just a second to set up the poll.
Can you give me this one?
Yeah, of course.
I need some time to think. Shit. The OG, Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th. Rated.
I'm struggling.
Yeah,
dude, my wheels are spinning, Michael.
All right, the poll is up. Sorry about that. This one for me. And you know what? This is going to be no surprise to you guys. And I'm trying not to base this off of my own feelings for the franchise and Friday the 13th. But I think that a lot of people throw this one under the bus and they don't appreciate, like, I understand rewatch value for this is not great. It's not, because it's a whodunit. You've got a freaking killer that once you know who it is, you kind of know who it is. But at the time, man, it had one of the best jump scares that actually freak people out. Now, we are so desensitized at this point to where you see it, at the first time, that it's just like, if you see that now, it's not going to shock you like it would have back then, because we've seen so many things and things have progressed, and shock value is just so much different now than it was in 1981. You know what I mean? It just really is. So for that, I'm going to say that this is an underrated movie because I do think that, at this point, people are just like, Jason's not in it. There's no hockey mask. There wasn't any of that when it came out. You know what I mean? It was something different. On those lines, I'm going to go with underrated. You guys know how I feel with that, but we'll see. We will see. How about you, Matt? Where are you on Friday the 13th, the OG?
I just can't help myself. I gotta have a little fun now. Because I feel like I could have an argument for each category. I do. I'm gonna go with overrated.
Okay.
And the reason is because so many people will just say, whether they're even talking about their love for 4, or whether that's in their heart, the love they have for 4, 7, whatever it may be, they'll just say Friday the 13th. I love Friday the 13th. I love Friday the 13th. So that's why. That's my biggest reason why.
Yeah.
You don't hear a lot of people specify and say that original. I love that original. but it gets a ton of credit for just the name alone, Friday the 13th, where they don't ever specify. And when it comes to me, and even a lot of my friends, when we always talk about our favorite Friday the 13th, I don't have one friend that says it's the original. It's either 4 is a big one,
Right.
7's a big one. For me, it's number 3. But I'm telling you, Michael, I feel like I could have an argument for all 3 of the categories. So just to have a little fun, and I feel like I feel in my own sick, twisted mind, I got a little bit of a reason to put it in overrated, and I hope I'm coming through and making sense, because it is that name that carries so much weight, but most of that weight comes from people's love of, just like I said, the part 4s, and it's not a bad movie. This goes back to, I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I enjoyed the first one, but if it was just that first one and gone, would I be talking about it like I am to this day and selling the merchandise I am? Hell no. And it does not have a whole lot of rewatchability for me.
It doesn't.
So I'm going with overrated.
Yeah. All right, man. All right. Let's see where we are at on the poll. I will go ahead and give this like 30 more seconds. Go through some of the freaking chat here.
I feel like there are good arguments across the board for this one.
Oh, yeah.
I really do.
Let's see. Mr. Rick is saying, I say underrated because people don't give it enough credit because Jason's not in it, but it started a storyline. I think it's way better that started a storyline, and I think it's way better than it seems to be. All right. John is saying, Michelle is saying right where it should be. Lydia is saying, I almost want to say underrated. Let's see. Jason Rocks, right where it should be, from James. She is saying, for me, feels like it's
that
right
would make more sense if James said Pamela Rocks right where it should be.
Oh, yeah.
But I love you, James.
John is saying, I feel like it's kind of overrated because it's only great because of the rest of the franchise. If there was only one movie, it would rank in the history with The Burning or Pieces. I don't know. I watched The Burning a few nights ago, maybe.
That's a lot like what I said. Shit, look at us, John. Look at us.
Have you seen The Burning?
I have not.
Thing that and this does not fall into what you were saying, John, whatsoever, but I had the hardest time with The Burning because I couldn't get over the fact that George Costanza was in it. And every time I saw him on screen, I just kept thinking like yada, 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 from Seinfeld. And it was really hard for me to take that character seriously just because it was George Costanza. Like it was just, I don't know. I don't know, but that's my own problems that I'm trying to freaking work out.
Now, who does he play in Seinfeld?
George Costanza.
Oh, I don't know Seinfeld.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Is he like the little short guy?
Yes, the little short bald guy. Yeah.
Same guy. Okay.
Yes. He's a little younger in The Burning. I will say that. He's definitely younger, but it's still him. Like it's, you know what I mean? Like you still see him there. He just doesn't have the bald head.
Yeah.
But definitely.
It's like watching Don Knotts take on like a serious detective role.
Kinda. Let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and end the poll here because it is at 6 minutes, and that's way longer than I usually want to do that. But it looks like right where it should be just edges things out with 37%. Where overrated said 31 and underrated said 31.
That's a good one.
They were freaking locked up, and that. To me, that just seems like a good pick for this. You know what I mean? Because it was so divided and almost very similar in all aspects.
I started it off saying like I feel like each category could have a really good argument. So yeah, that does sound cool.
Oh yeah. Let's see. Fridge is saying, sorry, Jason on a starship didn't work for me at all. I like Jason X, but it's a guilty pleasure. I get that. Michelle is saying you need the original, in my opinion. I do. I believe that as well. Let's see.
Yeah. I mean, it's where it started. It's where it all started, for sure. We would not have all, the great Jasons we have without. And dude, Pamela, her perform. I'm sorry, I'm having a brain fart. What's her name again? Who played Pamela?
Betsy Palmer.
Yeah, she was brilliant.
Yeah.
And the only reason I feel it's that it doesn't have that rewatchability is I'm a visual guy and I just have to see Jason in that fucking hockey mask. I just do. I do. I'm just being real. But she was so brilliant. You and I have talked a lot, Michael, like when she starts telling the story, Jason was my son and it's his birthday. It's all brilliant. It's great.
The dialogue was very good in that. And plus, the character, like, I don't want to make this a whole, Friday the 13th thing. But,
you sure about that?
It's like Crazy Ralph, dude, was a freaking great character, man. Like, there were so many little things about that movie. And like I always say, that set the tone for Camp Crystal Lake for me. Anytime I think about what Camp Crystal Lake looks like, I always go back to that first one, for sure. But let's go ahead and spin that wheel. Let's see what we got. Ooh, Jeepers Creepers, the OG. All right. And you will definitely have to go first on this one, Matt, so I can set this up. And I know you could talk about Jeepers Creepers all day. That I know.
I can, man.
There it is. All right.
Jeepers Creepers, man. I put it. It gave me the same feeling as, like I talked about when I watched The Conjuring. Mm-hmm. Where I sat and watched. Like I say how I sat and watched The Conjuring, and felt like I was watching like just good old school classic horror. I had that same feeling watching Jeepers Creepers. It wasn't anything overdone with CGI. It was a little bit different. The dialogue between Trish and Derry, just fantastic. The truck stalking them and throwing the body down the hole and them having to go back, and the suspense. Jeepers Creepers for me, man, has a little bit of everything that you want in a horror film.
Right.
I absolutely love this film. And then I talk a lot about, how so much of it is like the art for me. And then they nail it there. The Creeper looks absolutely fantastic. I put him up there with the Jasons and the Michaels. He looks fantastic. The atmosphere with the crows and the old church, the creepy psychic lady, Justin Long. That's when I fell in love with Justin Long. I won't go on, but I love this film.
What do you think the general perception of this film is?
I feel like it is. It's another one where I'd be in between.
Yeah.
Like where it should be or underrated.
Okay.
But I'm not going to go as far as underrated. I feel like the movie gets a lot of credit.
Yeah.
I feel like it deserves every single bit of it. And I won't go, into detail. Like I know how, there's some, things about like, who created the movie is, not the best of people. And, that sucks. That's a shame. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about the movie. And it is a fantastic film.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say, I just can't, I feel like it gets the credit that it does deserve. I'm going to say it's right where it should be.
Yeah.
But I teeter that line of underrated simply because how much I love this film. But I don't feel like if I felt like I was alone on that, I'd go to underrated, but I don't.
Right. Yeah.
Hopefully I'm not wrong, but that's where I'm going to go.
With me, I think that I'm going to I think that it's right where it should be. You know, I've seen a good mix of people that like it, that don't like it. And I think that that's like even keel. Like I really don't feel like this is a fun movie. You know what I mean? Like I enjoyed it the first time I watched it, you know, especially probably the first, I would say, hour of this movie. I really loved it the first time I saw it. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Because it was mysterious and it was, you know, when they went down in that pit and there was,
Yeah,
you know,
it
different
felt like
years
an
of
80s
people
horror movie, did it
that
not?
had
Like
been there. Yeah. And it was kind of like an out on the road, you know, they were out on the road, you know, what's going on with this truck? This shit's fucking scary as shit. You know what I mean? I didn't like the end as much as I liked the beginning of that movie. Just I think because in my mind I thought it was going a different direction, you know. But that happens with me with a lot of movies where it's
same
just
here.
like I'm thinking one thing and then it ends up here, and then you know as years go on, it's like yeah, you know that's pretty cool. I like what you know this character has become and you know stuff like that. So with that, I'm about to say you know it's about where it should be for me on this one. Let me try to catch up on the chat here.
Yeah, I guess if I ran into, and I haven't, but if I ran into enough haters of the film, I would go with underrated. But I haven't really ran into a lot of haters. I'll run into haters of, you know, like I said, you know, maybe, you know, who produced the movie or whatever. But as far as the movie, not so much. So I feel like it gets its credit.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it does too. I do. Let's see. Saying right where it should be. John said, I'm smashing the overrated button so fast. Michelle's saying that was mine and my nephew's movie together, and he was. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Michelle. I'm so sorry to hear that. Mr. Rick is saying, I say underrated. I think it was a really good movie. I think it would have been one of the best movies. Let's see.
Underrated. Okay.
Yeah. Polar's saying the second one, though, the zoom in of his nose. Yeah, the sniffing.
And the second one, I even go with like not as like original or any of that, but if you look at it just like on a fun level, it kills it. Like it is very fun. And that's where it ends. That's where it ends. Jeepers Creepers dies after 2. It just takes a boom nosedive from hell.
Yeah.
2's not great, like as far as you can nitpick it, but it's you know it's almost like a Jason X or something. It's very fun and it keeps your entertainment.
Yeah.
But after that, they just said, I don't know what they did, but it was very heartbreaking for me because I am a true Jeepers fan. As much as I joke, I still cry a little. So.
I cry on the inside. Polar's saying the premise is based on a true crime near my hometown. I think I know. I think I've heard about that. Michelle's saying it also
very,
cool
very
there
loosely
was an Unsolved Mysteries episode that almost mimicked the beginning. So that was like this older couple was driving and there was a van behind them, right? And the van went ahead of them, kind of like in that, got up on their ass, pulled ahead of them, and you know took off in front of them. And as they were driving by, it was like a church or something. Maybe I'm mixing that with the movie, but there was a building that they saw the van behind and he was carrying something out that was like had blood on the like sheets, like it was wrapped in something or something. I vaguely remember that. Let me know if I'm right, you guys, because I do vaguely remember that. Let's see. Paula is saying, love you guys. Oh, thanks, Paula.
Love you, Paula.
Polar is saying, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Oh, okay. Damn. Oh, wow. Michelle, I'm so exhausted tonight, but my spelling is sloppy. That's okay. My spelling's also sloppy always. So, yeah, step up on me for sure. Let's see. Polar says, not much happens around here, but that did. Creepy background shit. Oh, yeah. Or back road shit. I see. All right, Matt, let's go ahead and end the poll. I think this one's been up for a minute. And it looks like underrated is going to win at 50%.
That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool.
This Jeepers Creepers will join It Follows in underrated.
That's actually pretty cool, man, because that is totally given my Jeepers like a lot of props. I didn't even put it in the underrated category. And you all know I'm a Jeepers fanatic. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, man. Hell yeah. All right, let me bring up the wheel because it's time to spin.
It's wheel time.
Wheel. Let's spin the wheel. What do we got next? Where are we at? Oh God, this is gonna be good. This is going to be good. We are talking about The Descent, my friends. This one is going to be a good one because I am going to love seeing what people put here. All right, let me bring up the chart. And I will set up the poll. The Descent.
Oh shit. Okay.
You can go ahead, Matt. I'm typing
It's okay. I will. It's getting. I was even starting to think like, we just talked about another beloved movie of mine, Jeepers Creepers, and then we go with another one. I think The Descent is slowly becoming like very close to a Jeepers Creepers for me. And with that being said, I'm pretty easily going with underrated. You just don't hear, and Michael, that I sell, horror collectibles every weekend. So we get, tons of, horror fans in there talking about what they love, their Michaels, their Freddies, and not that there's a lot of merchandise for The Descent, but do I have a lot of people coming in talking about The Descent? I do not. I just do not. It's something that you kind of, have to mention yourself or bring up. So I'm very easily going to go with underrated because I think this movie is fantastic. It's, I'm a little claustrophobic. So it's got that, like, it hits you with that claustrophobia. The story's great. The creatures are great. It's fun. There's not a dull moment in the film. Yeah. Once it gets going, it just goes. I don't think the movie gets the credit that it deserves. I really don't. I'm going with underrated for the Descent, man.
Yeah.
That's a badass horror film that you can talk to true horror fans about it, but that's about it. Where there's a lot of movies that like the Screams and the the Friday the 13th and stuff, you can just talk to anybody about, but you cannot with the Descent, man.
Yeah. I honestly, dude, I'm putting it in underrated because I don't feel like there are enough people that know about this movie. I think that the more people I talk to about The Descent, they're just like, oh, I haven't seen that one yet. Or I haven't seen that. I think that it's a good mix of that. And I'm not usually like, dude, I've been pretty even keel with where I'm putting stuff tonight, just based off of what's coming up. I do full-heartedly believe that this movie is underrated. I just don't think maybe, I don't think enough people are talking about it. You know what I mean? I just don't. And in The Descent, man, like the things that got me in this movie was, I think the thing that got me the most, yes, the creatures were crazy. The adventure was crazy. But the sheer claustrophobia that this movie projects onto the viewer is just like so well done, man. And I just think that more people need to give this movie a shot. And that's why I'm saying that it's definitely underrated. My opinion.
Look how dope the poster is. Like,
yeah, dude.
Itself, like that's sick.
I mean, it's freaking awesome. But that, dude, with that being said, it's just a simple fact. I don't feel like enough people, know about this good horror movie. And that is the true definition of being
sure.
underrated, for sure.
Yeah, I'll be surprised if this does not.
Yeah,
claim underrated.
Let's see. Let me go through the chat here. And they're talking about the second
I'm
one.
going to use the restroom, Michael.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go through the chat. I'll be right back.
I've never seen the second one, believe it or not. So I'm going to assume the second one is underrated since I haven't seen it, for sure. Polar said, I love movies where the victims actually fight back and they put up such a great fight. They did put up a good fight in this. This movie, there were so many things they did well. And there are certain things in movies that make movies, make me feel uncomfortable. And this one did a very good job of that. And it's not so much the escape the monster part of the movie. For me, it was the claustrophobia that I was talking about just a minute ago that was projected in this film that they did so well. Like you really felt like you were in that cave. And I'm for the people who haven't seen it, and since I am saying this is underrated, I'm not going to give away anything with it. But with this, like the ending kind of tripped me out. You have two versions of the ending to which you can watch depending on which one you watch. And if you haven't seen this one, I highly recommend it to all of you, for sure. Let's see. Mr. Rick is saying, what is the movie on the tear that comes down before Saul? On the tier that comes down before Saul? Where am I looking? Oh, that's High Tension. We did that last time. That was High Tension. Another good conversation we had about that one. Michelle said, I love anything based on true events or based on a true story. Hell yeah. It makes it a little like creepier too. You know what I mean? It kind of adds that little bit of fear to what you're watching. Like it's based on a true story. And Texas Chainsaw Massacre did a very good job at that. Before I saw that, before I knew really what based on a true story meant, when I was a kid, and I was thinking it was a true story. It's like, oh, this is a true story. Like this really happened in Texas somewhere. To where growing up and learning what based on a true story meant, what was a lot different with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Let's see. Polar is saying cave diving is some bat crazy stuff to begin with. Throw in being lost and attacked by creatures. Nope. I'd roll up and just let death take me. Yeah, I'm not. First of all, I'm never gonna find myself in a cave. Cave diving for sure. No. Mm-mm. Don't they call that spelunking? That's cave diving, right? Like, let me know. I'm pretty sure that's spelunking. Unless I'm mixing it up with something else, but I'm pretty sure it is. Let's see. Paula's saying ready to Eddie Munson this thing. Right. And Mr. Rick is saying, oh, I love High Tension. Would have definitely have said underrated. Yeah. And I was kind of surprised it didn't go that way, but I feel like I may have voted for about where it should be, but it was definitely teetering that line for sure, Mr. Rick. You should go back and check out the first episode we did on this to see, how we got to the place where we got with some of these movies for sure. Sarah saying spelunking. Thank you. Look at me using big words. I'm so proud. And Rashid is saying, I love diving movies like in Deep House. Yeah, I mean, that type of stuff. And, we talked about movies that scared us last week, and I brought up the movie Fall. Like I said, I enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed it for what it was, but the atmosphere of that movie and, the heights in it and everything, that was the thing that scared me about that movie, was just the visual of it for sure. Let's see. I think it was like 3 weeks ago ish, Mr. Rick, maybe 4. It's up there for sure. Michelle is saying we go to the caverns in different caves just to explore. I went into a cave tunnel that a lot of adults refuse to go in. With my youngest son, I could barely move. Yeah, like whew. Yeah, that's claustrophobia at its finest for me. Like this for sure. Polar saying that's not what I thought that word meant. Oh my god, I don't even want to know where that's going. Michelle saying it was hot and scary, and I felt like I wasn't going to make it out for a minute. It was very claustrophobic. Yeah. Oof. Claustrophobia for me. That's. I'll go ahead and end this poll because it's been up for a while, and underrated has come through with 64% winning that. Well, see, it says 64% when I bring it down to the completion. It always takes one away. So 63% to overrated being 18% and about where it should be being 18%. So we will go ahead and put this next to Jeepers Creepers in underrated. Nice mask, Mark. Is that Joker mask that you're working on?
It is. It sure as hell is. What's up, buddy?
Oh, well done, sir. So that ended up in underrated for that, and we, sir,
that is exactly where it should be.
I think so. I think so too. And we are going to spin this wheel. We are getting down there. We are definitely getting down there.
I'll be honest, Michael. The Descent got me on a kick of like cave type movies, and I wish we had more. Like, I'm very claustrophobic, but it had me wanting more. Like, it did.
Yeah. They said that there was a part 2, and I have not seen a part 2 of that movie.
I've seen it 3 times.
Really? Is it that good? Is it worth? Is it underrated?
It's a guilty pleasure, Michael.
I got you.
It's a guilty pleasure. Like, I just got on board. I enjoy it. But can I sit here and say like it's because it's that good? No. It's not bad for a part 2, for a sequel. It's not. But it's, it's a little campy. It's a little predictable. Check it out. I'd love to know what you think. It's not bad though. It's not bad.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. So our next pick, Paranormal Activity. Is it overrated? Is it underrated? Or is it about where it should be? The poll is up for this one. What do you think the general perception of Paranormal Activity is? Like, what is the general perception that you get from people that you talk to about Paranormal Activity?
These are the first words that come to mind is 50-50. It really does. If you're asking me right away, I'm putting it in overrated.
Okay.
I don't despise the movies, but they're really nothing super special to me whatsoever.
Right.
And I know they are to a lot of people. And I know they aren't. So they're very, like, that's just really what comes to mind. Yeah. I run into people who are like, I love sometimes they'll say the original. I've heard people talk about some of the later ones, that they like. And then I've also heard, like, I just hate the Paranormal Activities. I've heard quite a bit of that. So I feel like it's the best I can describe it, Michael. For me, it's just been like a 50-50.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the first Paranormal Activity. I watched the second one. It was just kind of, it does not deserve any type of, like, really high praise. And again, I'm not saying the movies suck.
Yeah.
But I'm leaning towards a little bit overrated.
Okay. So you think like the perception of, this is that it's, looked at very high.
I do.
Okay.
Higher than I think it deserves.
I got you. For me, I think that it's about where it should be. Like, that's been my perception as well. A lot of what you were saying is I talk to a lot of people that love it, talk to a lot of people that hate it. I feel like it's right in the middle, and that's why I go with, like, I enjoyed Paranormal Activity, but that's because we had that whole conversation about Paranormal Activity, about why I did that, but I honestly believe that this is where it should be, because I do agree with what you said. I think that there are a ton of people that love it. I think there are a ton of people that hate it. So I feel like it's right there. I don't feel like anyone goes on any of these streams as like, Paranormal Activity is the best fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. It kind of is what it is. I feel like everybody knows what it is. and I don't think that the judgment is biased in either way. So that's why I think it's about where it should be. I just in my of people that I've talked to, I don't see anyone that really praises this movie, let alone.
I'll put it this way. Jerry will like this. If you're trying to get me to come over and you say, hey, we're having pizza and a paranormal activity marathon, or we're having pizza and a wrong turn marathon, I'm going to the wrong turn marathon. I'll just put it that way. That's where I'm at, man. They are what they are. They're cool for what they are. And I'm always glad that something, whatever it may be, that if it catches the eye of that horror community and it is their jam, gets them involved.
Yeah.
I'm all about it, dude. They're just not really my jam. And I just think they get just a tad bit too much credit.
I got you. Hell yeah. So let's see where the poll's at, how long it's been up. It's been up for 4 minutes. And it looks like about where it should be is going to win this poll. Overrated was literally right behind it at 40%, and underrated at 10%. So that will stay there. And I will go ahead and bring up that wheel. I'm getting faster at this. You would think I would be better at it, considering we did this like a month ago. But unfortunately, I am not. Close. All right, I'm going to go ahead and spin this wheel. Oh, I forgot to take off Paranormal Activity, but that's okay. Actually, let me remove Paranormal Activity and respin, because that tainted the spin, unfortunately. And I want it to be fair here. So again, try number 2. Let's spin that wheel. Oh, this should be fun. This should definitely be fun. All right, we are going with The Ring. Is it overrated? Is it underrated? Let's see. Look at me getting those up there so fast. And we are talking about the American version. So The Ring. Let me go ahead and set up the poll. I think this will be an interesting conversation. How do you feel about The Ring, Matt?
Okay. The Ring was not my 100% cup of tea when it comes to like what I love, what kind of horror movies I love. But as we all know, I'm very limited with that. So sometimes I got to just take things for what they are. I thought The Ring was very cool. I thought it was super creepy. You cannot give it, you absolutely cannot, say that it was not original. It was very original. It was creative.
Yep.
I've got to say that it's right where it should be. I do think that it gets its credit. That's all I got. I think it does get the credit it deserves.
Yeah.
I can't say that it's overrated. I would never say that it's underrated.
Yeah.
It's right there, bud. Yeah.
I will agree with you wholeheartedly, man. I honestly feel like I've talked to enough people that don't like this movie. I've talked to enough people that really like this movie. I don't think that it's put on a pedestal, but at the same time, I don't think it's neglected either. So to me, that puts it, right there in the middle about where.
And it creeps me out.
Dude. Like it, and we've mentioned this, tons of times, dude. It kind of changed the way that it made horror when it came out. It changed the way that things looked. the first one had such a good tone to it, dude. It was like when you watch that movie, it's almost like the cover. Like it's got that bluish tint to it. The atmosphere is there. It's great. And you know, I love The Ring. But still, I do understand, you know, as far as the community that I've talked to about it, I don't hear anyone come up to me like, "Oh, I've never seen that." You know what I mean? It's like most people have seen it, so I definitely don't think that it's underrated. But at the same time, I don't hear a lot of people praise it all the time either. You know what I mean? So to me, it just feel kind of even keel, right in the middle, right where it should be, man. But you know, my love for this movie is but it's only the first one. Like I don't like the rest of them, and I only own the first one because of that. Maybe I'll go back and watch The Ring 2 again. I think I watched it about a year ago, and I was just kind of like, you know.
I don't think you're on board because it wasn't that long ago that I told you I was
Yeah.
like, man, I watched The Ring 2 and I really enjoyed it, and you were like, whatever. Um, you know, I it's Mr. Rick has an interesting take on that with saying that it's overrated. You know, but yeah, it's a little bit all over the board,
Yeah.
but it gets its credit, Michael. It does.
Hell yeah. Let's see. Let me get to the comments here. Fridge is saying, well, that's difficult. The Ring. Yeah. Sarah's saying where it should be. Michelle is saying right where it should be. James is saying right where it should be. Lydia is saying right where it should be. Mr. Rick is saying, I say overrated. I really enjoyed it when I first saw it on the big screen, but I think it just lost its steam. This might be a hot take. No, man, it's your opinion, dude. Definitely your freaking opinion. Hell yeah, that's why we're here, man.
Yeah,
No judgment.
the only opinions we can't take right now are Michelle's because she's too sleepy. So you know anything she's saying is just kind of delusional. So, but yeah, Rick, go about it, man.
Oh no. Rashid is saying it's right where it should be. Mr. Rick is saying, as I'm thinking on it now, my thoughts don't change, but I will say it's where it should be. All right. Let's see what the poll is saying. Oh, and the poll is pretty lopsided on this one, for sure. I don't think that it's one that I will definitely keep up here much longer. But right where it should be is at 78%. On this one, overrated at 22% and underrated at 0.
The Ring's a good one for this list, this type of list. It's great.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. Let me go ahead and bring this one down, and we will go ahead and spin that wheel. Bring this up. Have to remember to remove that. All right. And then there were 5, Matt. We are down to 5.
Shut the front door.
We are going to Insidious. Let's see. All right, Insidious. Oh, it makes it bigger. I like that. Well done. I was a little concerned about that. Insidious will be the next movie. And I will set up this poll. Rated. Oh no. All right, and the poll is up. All right, I guess I'll go first on this one. Insidious, I think that there are plenty of people who tell me that they don't like it. I think there are plenty of people that tell me that they do like it. I feel like I've been in this realm through most of the night. About right where it should be, because I think this is another movie. I watched this movie probably 3 nights ago, actually. I rewatched this movie. And dude, when I first saw this movie, I was more disappointed than anything else because I was expecting it to go one way. But as the years have gone on, I've grown to like it more. But dude, I honestly feel like this movie is where it should be. I don't think that, there are a whole bunch of people that have never heard of it, and don't really talk about it too much. I think that it has a good presence when you bring up Insidious, that people have the the wherewithal to have the conversation about it because they've seen it. But I don't think that this movie is blown up and overhyped either. So for sure, Insidious, I think that it's about where it should be on this one. And how about you, sir?
Okay. I'm gonna throw a wrench again. I'm gonna go with underrated for the original Insidious. And it could be Michael. This could be a whole lot of biased.
Yeah.
I totally hear what you said. Makes a lot of sense. But I almost wish you were talking more about like the entire franchise. For me, it's just son of a bitch. Something about that first Insidious. Just I love creepy, creative characters, and it's got them and tenfold. With Parker Crane, with Lipstick Demon, the shots with the family in the living room and the and the shotgun and the whistling and that little boy dancing that looks like he's back from 1920. God, it has so much that I love in this movie. And then like you said, you thought it was about something, but it kind of ended up being about something else. I was digging that, because I was never really 100% sure where this movie was going. Yeah. And I feel like that's what a good movie should do,
Oh, definitely. I agree.
And I don't disagree with what you were saying. Like I said, it could be a lot of bias, man, but I hold this movie very high up. It's why I think I was so disappointed in the Red Door. The latest entry in the franchise. I wanted more Lipstick Demon. I wanted more Parker Crane, and I got very little of all that. But I'm not going there. I'm not going to underrated like super easily because I know this movie gets a lot of good praise.
Yeah,
I just think it's top notch, and it could be just for me, but that's why I'm taking it to underrated.
I gotcha, man. And yeah, like I've never really heard anybody say like that I haven't seen Insidious or that they I don't know. It's just different. I like where I'm at with it. We'll see.
Let me ask you this, Michael, too. Because for both of us, not a whole lot, scares us or gives us the creeps at this point.
Right.
We both have been watching horror movies, since we were little girls.
Yeah.
Parker Crane, dude, was creepy as shit.
It was.
And like you mentioned, I think at the booth not too long ago when he takes the picture.
Yeah.
And it's like, God, it's such a great ending as well. Like, I love Insidious.
Dude, and let's not forget that Lynn Shay's phenomenal. You know what I mean? Like Lynn Shay is freaking dude.
Yes.
Yeah. She totally killed it with that. But again, it's not my opinion of the movie. It's how I feel it's perceived, by the horror fan base, for sure. But let's go and see where we're at here. Oh, wow. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and pull this down. It's been up for 5 minutes. We will see here where it looks like it is going to be about where it should be at 54%. So I will leave it there. Overrated hit 45%. Underrated at 0 with 11 votes in. It will stay in about where it should be.
Underrated was 0?
Yes.
Wait a minute. Where my vote doesn't even count for a point something?
No, we have to agree, or there has to be a tie. You know what I mean? So we'll run our mouths, but ultimately, this is brought together by the chat.
So I was 100% alone on that. That's awesome.
That's fine, man. I'm sure there'll be somebody on rewatch that'll agree with you. You know what I mean? Like there'll be somebody that looks at that and it's like, that should have been an underrated. It could happen. Quite a few people watch these videos after we're done.
Oh my god,
it's a fun thing. But let's go back to the wheel. Let me go ahead and share here.
James, I would be more than happy to show you around my mask collection anytime, my friend. Absolutely.
Let me actually.
I doubt I have as many as you, my friend, but I do have quite a few.
Michelle said, "Michael, you've been watching a lot of movies, Michael." Yeah, like I'll always put on a movie before I go to sleep, and it's been that's my way of winding down at night. Do I always finish them? No, but I do like to put something on the TV.
Now, do you fall asleep with them still playing?
Sometimes I turn it off. Like
I was
especially
never able to do that.
If I'm having trouble sleeping and stuff, I want everything to be dark. You know what I mean? But if I'm like super tired, I'll listen to something, with my eyes closed. But it's usually like when I get in bed, I'll have something on. It kind of winds myself down, wind myself down a little bit, especially if I'm going to bed shortly, like after a stream, after we do this, or, after I've been working on something. I usually put something on to do that. That's why there's a lot of things that I have seen half of. Because of that. Do you remember, like, a lot of things I'll be like, well, I've seen X amount of this for the most part, I haven't finished it yet. And a lot of times, dude, with that, I'll forget and I won't finish movies until it comes up in a conversation and someone's like, hey, did you see this? It's like, oh shit, I forgot to finish that movie. It's like, well, I've seen half of it. You know what I mean? So it's kind of
I cannot leave something on. Like, I've got enough things to battle, like with Lydia taking up 3/4 of the bed. I just it's a lot.
Oh yeah,
I need a quiet space.
Melissa saying, I'm back. My mom has the flu. She hasn't ate barely anything all day, trying to get her sugar to go. Okay, well, I hope she's feeling better. All right, let's go ahead and spin the wheel. Let's spin the wheel. Ooh. 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 Ooh.
Oh.
Michelle said, don't touch the list. I wouldn't dare. Let's see. Sorry, I just had a brain fart for a minute. I'm doing the same thing over, like, repetitively to get this, going. And sometimes I get thrown off and it's just like, okay, here we go. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the remake. I love this movie, but it doesn't matter what I think. Matt, do we feel like this is overrated, about where it should be, or underrated? Let me go ahead and set up this poll. CM03. Put remake. Underrated.
You guys are hilarious in the chat. Like, hilarious. I love it. My big ass. My big ass. That's funny.
All right. Let's see. Lydia's saying, me taking out most of the bed is hilarious considering I'll be on the very edge. Sarah saying, I've seen the first 25 minutes of Return of the Living Dead about 8 times. I need to watch it during the day instead of before bed. Understandable. Michelle said, you're not supposed to be watching TV before bed. Tisk tisk. I do my best. Jerry's saying, might as well be on the floor. Oh no. Michelle seems 125 seems high. Is that no? I don't know what that's in reference to. Let's see. All right, Matt, what do you think? TCM03, overrated, underrated, about where it should be? I don't know if I've ever heard anyone say they don't like this movie.
I hear you. I hear you, but it's underrated. I hear you. It's underrated. The fact of the matter is, and again, like everything, I say, we say, this is how I feel. This by no means is, what it is or, fact.
Hi, Kaylee.
I don't hear hello, Kaylee. Now I hear what you're saying, Michael.
Yeah.
At the same time, I don't hear a lot of people say that like it's their favorite and yada yada yada, which is fine. But I'll be honest. If you were to take the 03 remake out of the equation for Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I would probably be a very mediocre fan.
Yeah.
At best. I would respect the original for what it was, and what it did. But I turn to my right and I have nothing. I'm looking at nothing but a bunch of 03 versions. I started our show wearing an 03 Leatherface mask. I just thought that he never looked better, for one. As far as like a remake, I think they just nailed it.
Yeah.
Andrew Bernarski, like we talked about, mentioned earlier. Nothing against Gunnar Hansen. I think Gunnar Hansen was amazing. Yeah. But if you are going to have somebody try to fill his shoes, for a newer generation, it was Andrew Bernarski. So he really just kind of ramped up, for me, like I said, how I felt about Texas Chainsaw, how I looked at Leatherface, even coming to the new 2022 film. I feel like, it was a fun film to watch. I feel like the mask is very whatever, forgettable. But I don't feel that with what they did with the 03. I just think it was a beautiful way to bring back Texas Chainsaw Massacre to a new generation. I think it was it was beautiful. Jessica Biel, in her prime, doing her thing. Andrew Bernarski, you couldn't have asked for a better person to put on the mask. Yeah. So it gets credit, but I still don't feel like it gets enough credit. So I'm going to slightly go to underrated. And I'm just being, I'm being real. You take that movie out of the equation. I don't think I'm talking about Texas that often, except to say I remember what the original did and I give it props. I feel like it really revived it.
Yeah,
I really do, and that says a lot. So
you have it in underrated?
I do.
Okay,
I do. Ever so slightly, I do.
I am going to agree with all the things that you said, except for where you place the movie. For the simple fact that I don't know if I've ever talked to anyone in the history of, talking to people that have told me that they didn't like this movie, or that they haven't, that they haven't seen it. So I would probably teeter on the other side, to where I'd be on the about where it should be. That's where I'm going to place it. But I would lean towards, the higher end. That a lot of people have an opinion of this movie, so I don't feel like there's hardly anybody that's like, oh, I've never seen it, it didn't promote well, or I feel like this movie gets all the credit it deserves. You can go under a lot of having these conversations to where you talk about the best remake of all time, and I guarantee that's going to be horror remake. I guarantee that this movie's going to be in that conversation. So I
hope
don't.
So.
Yeah, well, dude, I guarantee it. And I don't often guarantee it, but this movie is, you could gather 5 horror fans, and I know that probably 4 out of the 5, if you talk about horror remakes, this will be on their list. And that's maybe me being a little generous on the other end and not 5 out of 5. I know if I asked you what, horror remakes should be on the list, I guarantee it's going to be on your list. I guarantee it's going to be on my list. You know what I mean? Because it is a fantastic movie. There's so many good things about this movie that you're just like, wow. Whether you like the first Texas Chainsaw or not, it's kind of like this does so much more. And the amount of people that are in this movie that made this so damn good. I mean, look at Arlie Emery, first of all, dude, as the sheriff. It's just like, dude, I love Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the beginning, because of this movie. This movie made me want more of the story. You know what I mean? To whereas a lot of people don't like that one, anywhere near the 03 one. A lot of times when I go down that road to watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I'll throw in the beginning first and then watch the 03 remake because they go together almost seamlessly. It's so damn good.
Yeah. It's so cool that you bring up. It's so cool that you bring up like where it ranks as just as a remake in general. Because you'll run into a lot of people and that is fine that just despise remakes.
Yeah.
And when I do run into those people, it's funny because Texas 03 is usually one of the very first. If I'm trying to combat that, where they say all the remakes suck, I usually go to, well, man, check out the 03, Texas Chainsaw. But I never dog on, how those people, the people that feel that way, how they feel. Cause I understand that too. They love their originals. They don't want them touched.
Yeah.
And they can be very passionate about that, but it's like, I usually have to bring that up when someone just says all remakes suck, like across the board, like, whatever. It's like, yeah, do they though? Some do. Right. I get it. Some do. It's like, why did you do that again? I get that, but there's some gems in there too.
For sure. Sarah saying, I feel like TCM 03 is getting more and more love now, so I think it's right where it should be. Used to be underrated though. I got you. Paul is saying about where it should be. Mr. Rick is saying, I think this is one of the best remakes of a movie. Sheriff Holt, report came one of my favorite side characters in horror history.
Oh, he was awesome. Awesome.
Yeah. Melissa saying underrated. Let's see. Agreements. DJ Plays Favorites is in the chat saying hello. What's up, DJ? Let's see. James saying the 03 Texas Chainsaw Massacre was awesome. Love the way Leatherface looked in this movie. The mask looked amazing. It was a great movie to me. And Lydia's saying the beginning is one of my favorites. Awesome. So I'll go ahead and end this poll. This one's been up for a while. About where it should be is going to win this one. It's 67%. 66. Every time I bring it down, it loses one. 66%. Overrated at 16%. Underrated at 16%. So TCM will stay in the middle. And we are ready to spin that wheel. Almost ready to spin that wheel. Now we're ready to spin that wheel. All right. We have got... Oh, did I not remove it? I didn't. There we go. All right, we've got 3 movies left, and we are going to spin that wheel. We're going to the OG. We're doing 2 Leatherfaces in a row. We are doing 2 Leatherfaces in a row. God, I hate that it ended up doing it that way, but that's fine. That is fine. All right. The original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Matt, how do you feel about that one?
Well, one thing I'll say, speaking of just Texas Chainsaw Massacre, how about this freaking amazing shirt I have on? This son of a bitch is the screen accurate Texas Chainsaw Massacre 03 t-shirt. Dude, it's like ripped, all freaking gnarly.
Yeah.
It's freaking thick. It's got the sweat stains. But these come from Creepy Customs, and I just love my boy Connor Thins at Creepy Customs. So these 03 Leatherface shirts are something that we started carrying at Mad Matt's Mass. So if that's something you're into, you love your 03 like I do, we got the screen accurate shirts in.
While you do that, I'm gonna run to the bathroom real quick.
Yeah, man.
I'll be right
so
back.
I had to throw that out there because these things are freaking beautiful. Everything he does, everything Connor does at Creepy Customs is just spot on. He goes for movie accurate, authentic, screen accurate, and he just nails it no matter what it is. All right, so if I'm talking about Texas Chainsaw, the OG, let me make sure I can see your guys' comments up here. But if I am talking about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, it's gotta be, guys, for me, it's right where it should be. You don't hear people say this movie sucks. You don't. Most people recognize and understand what it did for the horror genre. And let me talk about that a little bit. So this came out in 1974, a year after The Exorcist. So those were 2 good years. 1973, we got The Exorcist. 1974, we got Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You can talk all day about Michael, started the slasher genre, or Jason, but in reality, it's more like Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho and Leatherface really started getting us into the slasher genre. And what I love about the OG Texas Chainsaw is how gritty. I mean, it was gritty, guys. Like, they were filming out in that hot Texas sun. The sweat was real. It was raw. And Michael, I'm talking about right now about what the OG Texas did for us, man.
Yeah.
I was saying a lot of people talk about, Michael started the slasher or Jason, but they forget about one, Alfred Hitchcock with Psycho, and then Texas Chainsaw with Leatherface. Like, those two really helped kick this genre off. I feel like, it does get the credit it deserves. It's looked at as an all-time classic, which it is. Nothing will ever be created like it. I think it's right where it should be.
I agree with that, man. This movie's dirty. Like, this movie makes you want to take a shower after you watch it. It's grimy, it's gritty, it's freaking hot. Like, literally freaking hot. Like, I get hot watching it. It just looks like it's miserable. This movie is raw. Like,
they were miserable.
Damn raw, man. Like I just think about, that early scene of Leatherface grabbing that person, pulling them in and slamming that door, man. It's just like, yeah, dude, it's GOAT status, man. Like, it literally is, one of the originators, I'm not saying one of it is, man. And in this movie, maybe it doesn't hold up, now, like if it was brand new, I don't know if it would do as well,
but
you can't take that away from it. You know what I mean? You really can't. This movie is awesome. I think a lot of people know that it's awesome. So I agree with you. This is about where it should be for me. 100%.
Let me ask you a question, Michael.
Yeah.
Because this is, interesting for, if I were answering myself, it has for me, not terrible rewatchability, but not great.
Yeah.
I can rewatch it, but I don't go to it super often. How often do you go to the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
About once a year. I would say I
That
probably
sounds
watch it
good.
about once a year.
That sounds good. That sounds good. I might
Maybe
even be
once a year and a half, maybe. You know.
I might even be a once every 2.
Yeah.
And that, that comes with, as I think as time goes on, some things can, go from, like when I was younger, I'd probably say every 6 months, maybe every 3 months, but start getting more and more movies that you like. So I'm not saying it's terrible rewatchability, but it didn't help when 03 came out. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
It didn't help when 03 came out in the beginning and all that stuff. I just wondered where you were on that. And that's a great answer about once a year. Because I have movies, Michael, I'm sure you do too, that I think are really good, but they just don't have a whole lot of rewatchability.
Oh,
and
for sure.
I might be cool if I get around to them, once every 3-4 years,
Yeah.
And that's an interesting, route to go down. Like, what's a gem that you love, but you can't really just pop in at any given moment. That could be a whole nother segment, but yeah.
For sure. I'm gonna go ahead and end the poll. It's been in for 6 minutes, and it looks like about where it should be. Is going to win this one at 81% to 9-9. So we're gonna go ahead and leave that one there. The chat has spoken. It has been placed where it is placed, and we will go on to spinning.
I know we all have movies that we can admit are stupid, but we can watch at any given second. Like, I know I've got them.
Oh, I'm sure that
I know I've got them.
Yeah,
where you can admit a movie's better, but you're not gonna watch that after you've watched another one 6-7 times.
Yeah, Lydia brought up a good point too. There's definitely there's definitely a few that I like for me too. Absolutely adore Hereditary, but I can't rewatch it that much. You know what I mean? Like,
that's a great example.
It's a great example. Yeah.
It is. Hereditary is a phenomenal movie. It is. It's a phenomenal movie.
Yeah.
But I'd be comfortable, throwing that on. Yeah, once in a blue moon, for sure.
Oh yeah. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and spin the wheel. We're down to 2. Yep. I mean, it's for sure it's gonna be very biased. I'm sure I'm probably gonna be the one that's very biased about it as well too. Let's see. Start poll. We got overrated, underrated, where it should be. Keep misspelling should be. It's hard to type over a microphone. All right. My hands over a microphone. Halloween. We're doing freaking Halloween, the OG Halloween. To me, my favorite slasher of all time. I don't think that this gets any. I don't ever hear anybody say that it's not a great movie. Dude, this is right where it should be to me. John Carpenter's Halloween, dude, is to me my favorite slasher of all time. It is. But at the same time, dude, I don't think that there's anyone that doesn't agree that it's in the top tier of slashers of all time.
How is a movie as simple as it is? Because it's a simple movie.
Yeah,
I love it too, Michael, and I mean, I do. And I'm not disagreeing with you that it's right where it should be, but just how is a movie as simple with all the creative slasher films we've tried to come up with throughout the years, and we've done it, we've tried everything, but how and why is a movie as simple as Halloween so fucking good, and it is. I just think it's. I was driving home today, from the booth with Lydia, and I was saying, when I was a child and I was watching, like I told you before, I grew up a lot on like part 4 and 5. When I was watching those, I didn't have a whole lot of friends that I could like talk horror movies with and stuff. I never dreamt, Michael, that when I was an adult, that I'd even be talking about these movies. I thought I was like, just that weird kid that, happened to like this guy, in the white mask and stuff. I just could not have ever dreamt that he would be what he is today, Michael Myers. But it's just, I won't go on and on, but it's just really intriguing. It's the most simple mask that you could ever think of. They took a mask that was a Captain Kirk mask and they spray painted it white back in 1978. And we're sitting here talking about him today in, 2024. It's just it's very impressive. And, but what is it?
Dude, the atmosphere of this movie is just ridiculous. Like, it is absolutely, like, dude, from the music to the mystery to the look to there's so much, dude. Like, there's so much with this movie that is just, especially for its time, right? Especially for its time. Like, before this, yes, we had Psycho. Yes, we had Leatherface. Yes, we had Billy. But nothing like Michael, dude. And what Carpenter did with that music alone, like that, dude, the music, not only, granted it was shot in, California, and there are a few spots in it where you could be like, there's a fucking palm tree. That's not Illinois. You know what I mean? If you really want to break it down like that, dude, but the atmosphere in this movie, the tone, and I think that a lot of it has to do with the music. And making it such a mystery, and the way that Donald Pleasance carried that character, dude. When Michael wasn't on screen, he had Donald Pleasance just like, this motherfucker, the darkest eyes, the devil's eyes, looking past the what, dude, all that stuff, painting this picture of this
that you
character
could wait to see him.
That was there, but he wasn't, dude. Like, it was just so. It's just phenomenal, dude. It's phenomenal.
It is.
That music brings it together so freaking much, man. I mean, how amped up do you get? You could sit here and click on a YouTube video. It could be totally black, and you hear that dun dun dun. You already know what's coming, and you're already getting amped up because this is freaking Halloween. You know what I mean? From the title of the movie to the way it was executed, dude. To me, it's fantastic.
It is. I respect it so much for, I agree with everything you said, but
yeah,
you still can't not say that, like, for what we've seen, today, it's simple, but it was done correctly. It was, like you said, like, I like that you talk about Donald Pleasance, building up Michael, because he really did. And it's something that even slips my mind sometimes about what makes that movie so genius, But when you hear this guy and he's believable, Donald Pleasance was a phenomenal actor, but what he's saying and how he's saying it, you're like, holy shit, he's guy
painting a picture,
believes what he's saying. Yeah. Evil has come to your little town, Sheriff. Like, it's like, oh shit. Like, God, I want more simple movies like that just nail that. And I think they just had a happy, beautiful accident with, let's face it, they couldn't have put a whole lot of time in what, Michael was going to look like or wear when they just went to a hardware store, picked out 2 masks and spray painted one white. I mean, like, how simple is that? But
Yeah, but what they
God,
did with
here we
it,
are.
you know what I
Here we
mean?
are. What's that?
What they did with that mask,
Oh
though,
man,
dude. Like,
like, what a happy accident. Like, and you know, now there's people, that will spend $1,000 to have a mask that looks like the mask that they spent $2 on,
right.
plus a can of spray paint.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me. But it's beautiful as well. It's beautiful. But I was always captivated by Michael from a very early age. It was that look. I think you nailed it too with the score. The score was beautiful. The music. I was going to my friends, around Halloween, doing it with, dun dun. It was. I don't think we'll ever see anything like it. I don't.
Yeah. I agree, man. I honestly think it's right where it should be, and it's revered. Like
I apologize if I went on too long.
Michael Myers is uncanny, dude. Like, just is, especially in that first movie for sure.
Yeah.
We will go on here. It's about where it should be. Has won. I will say 58, but I know it's going to go to 57. Oh, it stayed at 58. 58 to 33 to 8. 33% said that Halloween is overrated and underrated at 8% for sure. Let me catch up on the chat real quick, and then we'll go to the last movie here, because I'm sure that a lot of people had stuff to say about Michael Myers. Let's see. James chimes in and says, love the creepy sound of music in the original. All those bones hanging around for those. Oh, he was talking about Texas Chainsaw still. I went back just a little too far. Sorry about that.
He's got plenty to say about his boy too. Don't you worry.
I'm pretty sure.
Love you, James.
Let's see. Michelle came through with where it should be. Sarah Campbell came through with where it should be. Lydia, where it should be. Paula agreed with what I was saying. James is saying, oh yeah, my man Michael, he rules. Oh yeah. Sarah said simple but executed perfectly. Paula saying Halloween is a classic, the first one, from the use of the pumpkins in that score and that opening and the cast. Yes. Michelle said John Carpenter, duh. James is saying perfection on a low budget. Who would think a guy in a white painted Captain Kirk mask would become a horror icon?
So true, James. So true.
Michelle said it's the Kendall Jackson Chardonnay of horror masks. Oh yeah. The Shape is saying didn't need no CG crap, just good old fashioned acting. No explosions, no karate crap, just plain old fashioned horror. Well said, James.
Yeah, and great storyline. Yeah.
Well said. All right. We really don't even need to spin the wheel, but we'll spin it just to spin it. Just because I like spinning the wheel. Only it's going to land on what we already know. Let's see here. Second. Sorry. I'm in an issue here. Why is this not? Oh, sorry about that. There it is. Okay. All right. The Amityville Horror. I'm going to spin the wheel just to spin the wheel and to watch the one thing go around in circles. But we are going to end on the Amityville Horror. I'm curious to see where this one goes for sure. But this will be our last.
It's a great one to have for last. It really is.
I know what Kendall Jackson is. I do. Don't look. I know what Kendall Jackson is, and I know what Chardonnay is. Now, I don't, on the other hand, know if that's a good wine or a bad wine. But I do know what Kendall Jackson is for sure. All right. Let me go
just
ahead. Just to be clear. Like, I'm learning stuff. Now, granted, Michelle, you are helping me learn stuff, but I do know about Kendall Jackson.
No, I deliver wine for a living, so I'm out of this one.
Let's see. There it is. All right. The Amityville Horror. Let me set up the poll. Matt, I will let you start with this one so I can set up this one. And this will be our last one for the evening.
I have to go. I have to go overrated. I have to go overrated. Reason why. Okay. As a young buck, you know, pulling at my mom, you know, to let me, you know, rent certain horror movies. It was very selective. The ones I couldn't get. You know, I loved when I got a Jason. I loved when I got a Michael. And say I couldn't get those, or, you know, was a little bit bored of watching those, I was always searching for something else to fill that void. Yeah. And I feel like Amityville was, you know, fairly accessible. So a lot of times it would be a go-to if I'm just, guys, I've always loved horror, always will. You know, I didn't want to watch anything but horror films. Mm-hmm. So if, you know, like I said, if there were no Jasons available, or I was tired of watching them, I'd try to branch out. And Amityville was, you know, always pretty readily accessible. So I it would be a go-to for me a lot of times. And it was just, it just was always, you know, okay, you know, kind of got me through. I never thought it was anything fantastic. Mm-hmm. Little bit cheesy, you know, dated. You know, not a terrible film, but I feel like for its name, you know, Amityville, when you put anything on the name Amityville, it's going to get a lot of praise. The praise it gets for what the movie is, I just think is just, it doesn't add up for me. So I'm not saying it's a terrible film, but I feel like it's a little overrated, you know, simply for the name that it carries. And it had me excited, you know, when you're talking, you know, I'm sure that, you know, the VHSs back then, you know, they said it all based on a true story, you know, this, that, and the other, they, you know, really build it up. And I just never got that overwhelming, like, I've watched something incredible, you know, feeling. And I've watched part 2, I've watched part 3, you know, when they started getting weird. So I'll simply base it off of that. I'm going to go with a little bit overrated.
I got you. This with me was, you know, one of the movies that it did scare me as a kid. You know what I mean? It did. Definitely one of those movies. Look, we're just talking about the original. You know, like the original was just, we're so far from the original and Amityville Death Toilet. You know what I mean? Like there's a big gap there. There is a huge gap. For me, this, I don't feel like it is talked about, at least in circles, you know, that I'm in a whole lot. But I feel like everyone knows what it is. But it's not one that's brought up in a lot of conversation. So this one, I'm going to kind of, I think it's about where it should be. I don't think there's too many people that love it. I don't think there's too many people that hate it. I think it kind of just falls right in the middle. For me, it's one that I do enjoy. It's not one that I watch often. I do own this movie. I'm a big Margot Kidder fan. So I think that might swing me in a certain direction. I really did like Margot Kidder. It's about where it should be for me. You know what I mean? I don't give it any more or any less than what it is. I am due for a rewatch on this one, to be honest with you. I have it literally right behind me, and it's been a while since I've watched it. But what I do, you know, think about it is it's kind of like, yes, I'm glad that it exists. You know what I mean? But it's kind of along the lines of movies that we talked about that we can't rewatch frequently, because this is one for me. and the perception I get from a lot of people isn't one way or the other. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's pretty 50-50 to where if I have to ask a group
Yeah.
of 10 people, 5 of them are going to say love it, 5 of them are going to say they hate it. So that puts me, right in the middle with this one.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I think that this movie belongs, at least in the, the people that I have talked to, for sure. But like I said, we're a long way from, the Amityville Horror and Amityville Death Toilet or big, that's a stretch. You know what I mean? You want to talk about franchises that went off the rails, dude. Amityville is definitely one of those. But to me, that doesn't take away from the original itself. So that's where I'm at with that one. And Matt, we've got a problem. If you have not voted yet, please vote, because I'm only showing 8 votes in the chat. And we are tied right now. So if you are in the chat and you have not voted yet, please do so. And let's go ahead and vote so we can break this tie, because Matt and I are not going to be able to break this tie.
We're
for
tied
sure.
with Amityville, huh?
We are tied with Amityville. Yes.
Oh man.
So I definitely need some more votes. And there are people in the chat who have not voted. But yeah. But yeah, man, like, that's the thing, dude. Like, those, early horror movies, Amityville, at least early for me. You look at Amityville and you look at Black Christmas, those were both, Margot Kidder was both of those. You know what I mean? And not to mention, my first, introduction to Margot Kidder was Lois Lane from Superman. You know what I mean? And it took me to get, older to understand, how good she really was, for sure. So,
you know what else is really crazy about the, when we think about Amityville, that was a case that was very controversial for the Warrens. So I would always just be surprised if they end the Conjuring, universe franchise without doing a movie that is based on Amityville.
Well, they started
Now,
Amityville in part 2. They can't go back.
It did, but they never did like a full movie on it. And it could be for a lot of reasons. Like, there's a lot of people that feel like, Amityville was a complete hoax. But I you know what I'm saying? I think it'd be cool if they went there, but I don't know if I'm right on that. Like, has there been enough on that? They should leave it alone. But it just was a case that the Warrens were very, very much involved with. And it had them on the fence big time, with a lot of people saying that they were, hoaxes, frauds. A lot of people saying it brought them to the light of being the real deal. So it's just interesting to me. I wonder if we'll get that.
Well, I don't think they'll go backwards, because they would have to, because the Amityville was in, the Conjuring 2 at the beginning.
Yeah.
I don't really feel like they'll go backwards, but the poll is closed, and it looks like about where it should be. Wins at 40%, overrated at 30%, underrated at 30%. So that was pretty close one.
So sure. What took it again?
About where it should be.
Okay.
That's where it's going to end. So our tier chart is done for overrated, underrated. Matt, we got through it with the help of all these fine people in the chat tonight. We were able to do that and complete this tier chart. It was, man. It was. And for all of you guys that voted and, did that, this was an absolute blast to do, for sure. Now, you wanted to talk about some Mad Matt stuff tonight? You wanted to show a few things before we got out of here?
I would like to. Do I have a chance to use the restroom real quick before I do that? That
sure.
would be fantastic, and I will do that.
Okay.
I got some really cool stuff for you, Michael.
All right.
Give me 1 second, buddy.
All right. Oh, let's see. Let me catch up on, some of these chats. Let's see. Fridge will say 1979 was way before my puberty. Yet the franchise messed up too often. Only originals are originals. And that's the thing. Like, one of the things that, I wanted to make sure that as people were voting and talking about these movies, that we didn't let sequels get in the way of, you know, what we thought about the originals. And that works good for some of these movies, and it works bad for other movies, you know. But I definitely wanted to take these movies as they were, the originals, and I think that worked out good. And I think that we got a good look at a lot of good movies to make this pretty tough. And hell yeah, man! Like this was an absolute blast, especially hanging out with you guys and to see all your opinions. And I tried to get as much of them up on the screen as I could, so your opinion could be seen and heard. But at the same time, I was doing 3 things at once tonight. So it was a little tougher than the normal way of, you know, me putting stuff up. And some of your guys' takes on this was really interesting for sure. Like I always like to see your guys' opinion, and I like to see, you know, the opinion of, you know, everybody. And I want to make sure that this is always a safe spot for you guys to say, you know, how you feel about movies without judgment, because that's definitely one thing that I do not want here, is any judgment on other people who think that, you know, they like this movie or they don't like that movie. You should never be judged, you know, based on that. It should just be, you know, this is fun for us. You know, this is a gathering of like-minded people who all probably like different things, you know, within the genre. But you guys are absolutely awesome, like for sure. Some of these comments I saw, I think that I got everybody up there. One thing that Sarah had said a little earlier, she said where, you know, talking about Amityville, she said where it should be, but so close to overrated. Honestly, really don't enjoy this movie or this franchise. You know, the thing with the franchise in this, and, you know, I talked a little bit about it. I did enjoy the first one, you know, and the second one wasn't too bad either. I honestly don't remember the third, but where this franchise went, you know, I'm not sure, you know, what happened and why it went off the rails like it did. I don't know if it became like public domain or you know, whatever it's called when I think that's what it's called, like whenever the rights are released. But it just seemed like you were getting an Amityville movie like every 6 months, and each one was crazier than the last one, you know, more recently than anything else. Not talking about, you know, back then. When I watched this, you know, as a kid, it scared the hell out of me for sure. Like it literally scared the hell out of me. But definitely one that I don't revisit too often. But you know, it's definitely a good one. Michelle is saying, I feel unsafe. Lies. You are lying. It's a very safe space in here. Very safe space. All right. It looks like Matt is back and he wants to show a few things from Mad Matt's Mask. What is up, man? What do you have?
It should always be a safe space in here. That's what's great about this show. Yeah. Everyone's welcome. Okay, so I do have some really cool stuff that I want to show you guys. We are always trying to bring, you know, you see it, Michael, a little something for everybody. Yeah. I'm going to start off with one thing that we've been doing lately is working with Creepy Customs, you know, Connor Thins with Creepy Customs. A lot of his stuff that, you know, I don't have here to show just yet. But he makes, like I said, this is his 03 Leatherface shirt. And what he does is he brings the most screen accurate shit that you can just possibly, you know, get, you know. I want to show you guys a piece that I know James is going to love. He's seen it before, but this is the Rob Zombie Halloween 2 buck knife. And this is a prop, guys. His props look so real. It's insane. Mm-hmm. But this is the Rob Zombie Halloween 2 buck knife. This is the bloody edition. But just like, God, look at that. They're sick. And he gets everything from the screen used mold, whether he's working on a, Scream Buck 120, he makes sure that he does not even produce it unless he gets that screen used mold. So that is the mold. of the Rob Zombie buck knife. You imagine being gutted by that sucker, like,
Yeah, it's
but
huge.
like, dude, how real he makes these things look. It's just, it's insane. But I know I can't always show them the best, but if you guys can see that,
Oh yeah.
that is the Rob Zombie 2 buck knife. So we have a clean version and we got a bloody version. I am very, and if anyone reaches out to me, and you want one of these, that's no problem. I am thinking very hard about getting this signed by Tyler Main at Scarefest.
That's cool.
Because I think that'd just be beautiful. But we're carrying a lot of his stuff lately. We're carrying his the Scream knife, buck 120. We're carrying his H1 kitchen knife. We've got a clean version, a bloody version. And I want to show something from Longfly. Or Lounge, is it Loungefly? Loungefly. I'm sorry. This is
Okay.
Loungefly. They make a lot of book bags, purses, but they're very, very high quality, and they've got a killer Beetlejuice one. Michael, you've not seen the new Beetlejuice, correct?
No, I haven't.
Okay, I got to see it last night. I thought it was very good. But yeah, this is their new, and the material is dude. These are so nicely made. So that is their Beetlejuice.
No, that's cool.
Loungefly, little book bag. Now, is that to look like Lydia's daughter, played by Jenna Ortega? Because that's what it looks like. But yeah, so we carry a lot of that stuff. Those are very, very sought after. And something that you were right there with me, Michael, I really want to show you guys is the Heather Langenkamp mixed with Robert Englund autographs. Like we've had a lot of Robert Englund, but we've never had Heather Langenkamp added to anything.
Oh, your glove.
Robert Englund.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I got a glove. The first thing, dude, look at this. That is a very, very sought after figure. This is by Mezco.
Oh, nice.
Cinema of Fear. That is Nancy in the Tub, signed by Heather Langenkamp and Robert Englund. He
That's
even
cool as hell.
signed. He even signed the side here, and he's got Rub-a-dub-dub, Freddy's in the Tub. If you guys can't see that, but that is so freaking cool. Like,
Dude,
this
that's
figure
awesome.
alone, this figure alone is just awesome. When do you see? I hope they start making figures like this again, like that reminisce or that reenact scenes that we all love.
Yeah.
It's got his glove coming out of the tub, but I absolutely love this piece.
Oh yeah.
We've had it before, signed by Robert, and I always wanted to get it signed by Heather, and now we've got both of them on there. So that is a piece I was very, very happy to add to our our store. And then we've got a glove as well. And I know that you can vouch for this, Michael.
Yeah.
Heather was amazing, was she not?
She was super cool. Yeah.
She was amazing.
Yeah.
And any of you out there in the chat, if you're thinking about, seeing her, I would highly recommend it. She was amazing. Just a super nice, genuine person. So this is the Trick or Treat Studios Nightmare on Elm Street glove that we now have signed by both Robert Englund and Heather Langenkamp. If I can get you guys to see that, I know there's a glare, but there it is. It's got. Yeah.
If you tilt it this way, it looks better.
Like that way?
Yeah, because it helps reduce.
Can you see that?
Yeah, for the most part.
It's got both of them on there. But that's the stuff like that I want to bring to you guys. You know, and try to get but all that's available. We're gonna keep, you know, trying to get the best of the best we can. Another thing is a lot of times we can go for grails. Like say it's a Scream mask and we want to get everybody on there. Matthew Lillard, Skeet Ulrich. But sometimes we want to keep it simple. You know, maybe a Scream mask with just Skeet Ulrich, just like that.
Yeah.
There's Skeet right there. You know, we're carrying that stuff as well. You know, if he's your favorite character and you just want him on a mask, we can do that. Everything authenticated. But thanks for letting me show that stuff, Michael.
Yeah, of course.
You know, we got one more. But we pride ourselves in that. We want to have a little something for everybody. And just like I said, we're trying to get things that might just be a Scream Buck 120, just signed by Matthew Lillard, or just signed by Skeet Ulrich. And then we got grails, like this one here. This basically, we're trying to get everybody on here. Mm-hmm. It's got Lillard, it's got Skeet, it's got Rose McGowan. You go to the back. We've got there you go. Yeah. We've got the only person we're trying to get on this one here, I think right now, is Roger L. Jackson. Trying to get everybody on there. And a very hard one to get is Courtney Cox. But you know, if you're looking for something that has everybody from your favorite slasher, we're trying to do that as well. But I love the horror community. I'm always trying to get something for everybody. So yeah, I think that one we still got to get Roger L. Jackson on. And who?
Nev's not on.
And Nev Campbell on that one.
Yeah.
And that should be complete. You and I both know, Michael, Scream fans have impressed the hell out of me, you know, over the years. Like,
yeah.
You said it best. A lot of the younger generation, Scream is their Halloween.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
And it really is. But yeah, and if there's any of you haven't got a chance to come check us out, Mad Matt's Mask, we're in Trader's World, the main aisle on the south side. And Michael, thank you so much for letting me show that stuff.
Of course.
I absolutely love the horror community, and I'll never stop trying to get you guys the best collectibles I possibly can.
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah.
For sure.
That's awesome stuff, Matt. Definitely awesome. You guys make sure that you check out his Instagram and his Facebook. So you can go over there and check out, you know, all his stuff. Or if you see something that you want, you can get in contact with him there too, because I know he does shipping as well. So if you're not in this area and you live outside of here and you see something on his, you know, either of his social medias or shown on here, that's the way that you can reach out to him to get those items that you're looking for. But Matt, another fun show for us tonight, dude. Another Sunday down. We are 1 week closer to Scarefest, my friend, which I am very much looking forward to. Hell yeah, man. Like that's for me, that's the big one of the year. You know what I mean?
I know it is, man. And you know, our friendship, our friendship grew tenfold our first Scarefest, man.
Oh yeah, definitely, man.
You know, it really did. And I realized how much you can eat, and I don't think I've ever offered to pick up the tab since then.
Right,
but
I warned you ahead of time. You know what I mean? I warned you ahead of time. Said, you sure about that? I got you. But yeah, man, dude, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here for tonight. But dude, it was an absolute blast as always. Everybody in the chat, you guys are freaking awesome. And I should be back on Friday. But before we get off of here, Matt, I want to say thank you for being here tonight. And I want to say thank you for all the people in the chat that not only hung out, but participated and voted. It was an absolute blast tonight. And Matt, if you don't have anything else, go ahead and get out of here.
I do not.
All right. Well, with that being said, we'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Toodaloo, motherfucker.